Have you ever scaled horizontally? Hello and welcome to Growth Masterminds, the podcast for growth marketers. My name is John Kassir. Today we have a special treat. We're chatting with a person who's managed more than $100 million in ad spend. He's scaled projects on the web, mobile, and Web3. He's helped mobile games hit over 1 billion downloads. He's the founder and CEO of Defined Chase, and his name is Vitas Breakup. Welcome, Vitas. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm great. Thanks for having
Awesome.
me.
Awesome. And guess what? I got your name right this time.
Yeah,
So, hey, we're off to a better start. First of all, I want to start with you. Tell me your story just a little bit. Give me the highlights. Not everybody manages $100 million in ad spend. Not everybody has insight into web, mobile, and Web3 and all those things. Where'd you get started? How'd your career progress?
Oh, so it was a wild ride from managing small budgets to 3 million per day or even more per day. So yeah, it's fun.
That is the briefest version of a wild ride I've ever heard. Wow. Yeah, that's a big change going from small budgets of $3 million a day. Uh, how stressful was it managing $3 million a day of ad spend?
Actually, it's not stressful at all. It's like the same as managing 10K, to be honest.
I guess you just get used to it. I mean, I guess you also kind of slowly build up to it, and so it just becomes normal to you. But I mean, if you think about it, if you sit down and think about it, $3 million a day is flowing out. Now, if you see the returns, great, awesome, it's wonderful. But if you ever have any issues, or there's a technical problem, or there's just some conversion thing, or there's a product problem, that's a lot of money you flush down the toilet for that particular day or that week.
Yeah, and then the funniest thing is that I actually were challenged by the management team, and they were saying you need to spend even more. And I was, like scratching my head and thinking, well, we're already like covering 10 channels already, and how do we scale more? And it was frustrating to scale even further.
That's a perfect segue because we want to talk about horizontal scaling. First off, what is horizontal scaling?
Yeah, so horizontal scaling is when you want to add new channels in the mix, and usually vertical scaling is when you have one or two channels that you already feel strong and you want to go even higher. But with horizontal scaling, you're like widening the horizon and
Yeah,
adding more sales reps, more salespeople to the team who can basically do more. And usually,
exactly.
yeah, and usually we like to treat horizontal scaling as when your current channels are reaching diminishing returns and it becomes
Mhm,
way harder to scale them up. That's when you can
mhm.
introduce new channels to do the horizontal scaling.
This is a great, great discussion to have because it's a typical path that somebody follows from startup, maybe an indie to sort of a mid-market, and they start growing and they kick off marketing on Meta, Google, probably Apple ads and stuff like that. And there you go. And you've got two partners, one partner, maybe three, and they're kind of moving along. And then you find you hit some kind of a wall, right? You hit some kind of a wall where your whichever platform you're using, whichever ad network you're using, they've maxed out on the number of people, targets, audience that you want, that looks like what you want, that they can access. Perhaps that's a problem of targeting. Perhaps it's a problem of definition of audience because you've got scaled platforms in Meta and Google that are massive, obviously. But for whatever reason, you've hit a ceiling. So then you go to horizontal scaling, you start adding partners. What do you look for when you start adding partners? Because you don't want to just add more fishing poles to the same stream.
Yeah, so a big topic, especially with bigger clients, is incrementality, and making sure that you're not reaching the same users again. So
Hmm.
that's why attribution tools are and incrementality tools are like the best thing ever. And yeah, so without that's terrible. But the main idea, yeah, is to get the users at a price that's in your goals, in the area
Hmm.
of your goals, and also that you're reaching into incrementality.
Hmm. Okay, so let's talk about the strategy then of picking new partners. You're starting theoretically. You're starting. You got a mid market. You're spending 10K a day or something like that, maybe 20 or 30K a day, whatever. You're seeing results. It's profitable. It's good. It's excellent. You want to scale. Your CEO is saying you want to scale to 3 million a day. Maybe that's aggressive. Whatever. but what do you start looking for? How do you start picking new partners?
Yeah, so usually we try to look at benchmarks. So there's great reports that we can see. Well, especially if it's a newer brand and they don't know how to do marketing, or they are not aware of other options outside of Google or Meta. So
Hmm.
there's great websites like Business of Apps or other websites, reports from MMPs who provide information of what's working in different.
Like the singular ROI index.
Exactly, and then you can just look by geo, by category, what makes sense, and that's a good starting point.
Hmm. Cool. So when you start with one, what do you do? Do you throw 10K a day at it right away? Do you throw a K at it a day? Do you go harder? What do you do?
So it really depends on the channels. So some channels are slow to start. So Google is sometimes slow to start. Some programmatic channels are slower to start. And the best tip I would say for someone starting fresh is to always talk with the reps,
Hmm.
to ask them for best practices. As the biggest problem I see usually is that someone starts too small, so they're trying
Hmm.
to target the United States with $50 per day, which is, well, it's hard to do, especially if you have like a monetization that's based on ad impressions. So
Yes.
you need a specific volume to get the money back.
Yeah.
So yeah, knowing the numbers, knowing the requirements is the thing you need to know before starting.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
if you don't know, or no one is talking with you, or you just have the money, and usually it's based on the experience. But we already know that for United States, when we want to start, it's minimum 500 or 1K per day just to get
Hmm.
started,
Hmm.
and,
Hmm.
and see the results fast.
Hmm. Hmm. Cool. So you start at 1K per day. You look at what's going on. Do you just import your same creative from wherever you were, or do you start with new creative?
Um, Usually, it's best to have dedicated. So, for example, Snapchat is very different from Google, and TikTok is different from Meta. Uh,
Hmm.
Sometimes the creatives can work all together, but like Unity has playable ads. Other channels also like playable ads. So it's you can't just have like static images. For example, Facebook used to be one of the top with videos, but we see
Hmm.
great success with static. So it's always like uh, a path that leads to experimentation,
Hmm.
and it's best to stick to the specific placement.
This seems to indicate that if you're scaling channels and partners, then you're probably going to be scaling your team to some extent. Now, maybe you can create more creative with generative AI. Maybe you can create more creative with just getting variations. So maybe it's not like I'm adding, I'm doubling my partners and double my headcount. It's not there, but you need to add somebody to help start managing some of this stuff, I assume.
Yeah, yeah, and I would say that having systems in place is the best thing. Um, I work with some companies uh, who are less structured, and and they're doing motion graphic designing and graphic design when they feel like this game lacks attention, but they just
Hmm.
feel that game is lacking attention. In reality, it's
Hmm.
getting all the creatives all the time, and another game is not getting all the creatives all the time.
Hmm.
So we're
Hmm.
having like a system, how much creatives we have to create per week,
Yeah.
per person. What kind of angles are you doing? Are you doing like uh, uh, specific motivations are leaning towards, showing social effects, or showing that
Hmm.
you can relax while playing the game, or
Hmm.
any other emotion if it's a shopping app. So just have a structure.
How guided are you in terms of adding channels and doing performance marketing by what's going on in your app right now, the users you have right now, what they're doing, maybe what they're seeing. Do you have conversations with them? Do you want to chat with them? What do they get out of the app? What's their impression? How much do you investigate that side and how much you just focus on new?
So usually we focus primarily on ad metrics. So
Hmm.
that's where we get the first insights. So what's the IPM? Um, what's the hook rate? Uh, what's the hold rate? So all those creative aspects to understand
Hmm.
if the users uh, looking at the creative after 3 seconds. So that's
Yeah.
the hook rate,
Yeah.
or the hold rate is does he finish till the end?
Yeah.
And some cool things we actually did a while ago is we even did AI analysis of different videos and images
Cool.
of thousands of creatives that we have. And for example, those were for specific games that are like murder mystery.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And if the character was looking left, so the conversion rates will decrease by 20%.
Get out of here.
Yeah,
Left versus right?
yeah, versus looking straight to the user's eyes. So
Okay.
yeah, you can see
Okay.
when you're in Vegas and all the slot machines are looking straight to you. So
Uh-huh.
the same
Uh-huh.
principle applies with that as well.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, I guess you would feel weird if I was having a conversation with you, but I'd be looking off here or something like that, right? You
Exactly,
would probably feel less engaged in the conversation. So I
exactly.
guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Huh. Super interesting. Do you have different strategies for different verticals? Like you've worked on games. I'm sure you've worked on many subscription apps, obviously ad monetization based apps as well, whatever vertical they might be in, finance, fitness. Do you have your favorite partners or channels for some of those things?
Well, Google and Meta are like the number
They
one.
cover almost everything.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
they're just like they must be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
The third one is usually Love and Unity. So it really depends,
Yeah.
on the specifics. Apple Search Ads is great for some. Moloko is sometimes great as well. There's some hidden gems like one channel I know that almost no one is using, and then that's like a hidden gem for us.
Hmm.
The DV460. So it's been with the 60.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. I recently did Singular's quarterly trends report for Q3 2025. It's coming out, might be out by the time this publishes, probably not, probably publishing this week or next week or something like that. DB360 is doing some interesting things, actually. We're also seeing some interesting things. You mentioned Unity. They're coming out with a few new things trying to compete with AppLovin. They're actually seeing some interesting growth as well. So it's kind of cool to see some of that stuff and what you're talking about as well. I want to talk about mobile web and Web3 and kind of the convergence and how that works. And I want to get into web to app and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to hit a topic that you raised when we were chatting before we started recording, which you said most performance marketers, most UA marketers don't talk about. That's brand awareness. And there's some reason for that, right? Of course, because if you're tiny, um, you're an indie, your brand awareness is probably it's Mount Everest, and you're starting in the Marianas Trench, right? So you've got a long ways to go, but you're thinking it's something that mobile marketers need to pay greater attention to. Talk about that.
Yeah. So even recently, when I was in MAU for at the Vegas event, there was a clubhouse experience, and we talked about brand awareness. And the main idea is that if you look at most research,
Mm-hmm.
like traditional businesses and even tech businesses, most try to reach the 5% of the market, who are already like those specific games, like specific style of clothes or whatever, and then there's like 5% who are already ready to buy that specific stuff. So the brand awareness opens up the spectrum,
Mm-hmm.
and you can reach more audience. And the best thing with app installs is most companies focus on getting more users with app installs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But when the install happens, not much is happening afterwards in terms of
Yeah.
the communication. And the
Yeah.
most accounts are set up to don't even have redistribution as an example,
Yeah.
and they're just trying to get new users. And with brand awareness, you're not only making your app, feel more uh, well known, uh,
Mm-hmm.
more trusted, more likable, more approachable, but you're also showing that as the same users you already have,
Mm-hmm.
and that's like a good friend always calling them and asking how you're doing, and suggesting to go to watch some kind of a movie or whatever, and just reminding that there's good stuff happening.
I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. So most of the time when we think about brand awareness in terms of marketing, we think about reaching people that haven't been touched yet. And that's important, right? Because guess what? The first time I see anything, whether it's a new person or a new product or whatever, it's like, oh, you know what? Okay, first impression. I'm probably not going to buy it. I'm probably not going to become your best friend instantly or whatever, right? It takes some time. There's some warm up, right? So having some ability to warm up is really important in terms of sowing the seed that will germinate and grow later on. So that's really, really important on that end. But I love where you brought it into is the re-engagement piece, right? Hey, brand awareness doesn't stop when you've got something. You're not just about getting something. You want to grow something that you have. You want to make that more valuable. You want to make those users come back. You want to help them monetize all that stuff. And that makes a ton of sense. That also leads to longevity, right? That also leads to somebody who sticks around because they start to know you, trust you, like you, associate you with good things.
Yeah, that's exactly the case. And also, uh, with performance marketing, you have usually quite a low frequency because you're trying to reach those that are already in the market. And
Mm-hmm.
you might show an ad once,
Mm-hmm.
then after 6 months, you will show for the second time, and you're not building that relationship.
No, good luck.
Yeah,
No recollection.
yeah. And with brand awareness, the CPMS are like crazy cheap because it's you're
Yes.
trying to get max reach and the highest frequency possible. And usually, if you set, and you can even set a specific frequency. So, for
Yeah.
example, 3 times per week, you will be their best friend every week.
Yeah. 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 I like that. I think that's really critical. If I see an ad too many times, I start to actively dislike the company or app that I'm seeing the ad from. Uh, so I think that makes a lot of sense. Okay, let's transition. Uh, I mentioned a couple times experience in mobile, web, Web3. Does that help you when you look at a marketing challenge or a marketing problem to have experience across those three different domains?
Yeah, a lot.
How?
So my app marketing career started uh, as I was working in a marketing agency before, and most of the clients were web based. There was quite a few like IKEA or wherever who had apps in place, but the main idea was we were always talking about ROS and all,
Mm-hmm.
and the all the idea in performance marketing was about sales
Mm-hmm.
and those hard goals. And when I started working in app marketing, I started a lot of people are actually focused too much on installs. So they're
Mm-hmm.
like their return from the user might take even a year or something,
Mm-hmm.
which is a
Mm-hmm.
very long window.
Yeah.
And those installs they have a very poor retention. So my immediate goal was to see how to make the apps profitable, but
Mm-hmm.
also keep DAO as good as possible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think
Mm-hmm.
my web experience helped a lot. And also then
Cool.
I saw other pieces that were not as utilized as web marketers are usually doing.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny you talked about that payback period because I just had Asi Barak from Tilting Point on, and they have a $150 million fund. They're investing in companies. It's not really investment. They'll provide UA capital essentially, and then they of course want to make a return on that and everything. And he was talking about payback periods are getting longer, right? It's
Right.
getting tougher. and you've probably seen that as well. And he was talking about year-long payback periods, and I was going like, whoa, that's a long time. How do you reinvest? How do you actually keep the engine of growth, the wheels of growth turning when you have to wait a year to get your cash back?
Yeah.
So hopefully you can find a quicker way than that. I mean, Web3, obviously, crypto, that has significantly tailed off. But now we're seeing stuff in the US as well where the government, the president is pushing a lot of Web3 stuff. So who knows? Maybe that'll take off again. I'm sure there's a lot of hope there. We'll see if that materializes. What I want to hit especially is web to app because we've seen an explosion, a literal explosion of marketing web to app for mobile apps for a lot of different reasons. One, you can take payments. Two, you can have long form sales letters, quote unquote, experiences, quizzes. You get to know somebody. Three, you can have a soft close because you can get an email address or some other, maybe a phone number for texting somebody or something like that before they're even ready to jump in and actually pay for the subscription. What have you seen with WebTap? Are you still excited about that space?
Yeah, so actually, Lithuania is popular with web apps. So the country I'm originally from. So we have quite a few unicorns and big scalers, hyperscalers. Well, kind of
Mhm.
like hyperscalers here, and most of them are using WebTap quiz panels.
Interesting. What are some of the benefits that you're seeing?
So the improved tracking, you can do a lot specifically web campaigns, and you have
Hmm.
almost all the tracking in place.
Hmm.
The quiz funnels in particular are great because they're usually pinpointing some kind of issue that you might have,
Yep.
and they usually have like psychological approaches that are
Yep.
trying to, well, while you're answering the questions, you're already building up the thought that
Yep.
you need to solve that specific issue.
Hmm.
So one
Hmm.
example, and I know is popular in Lithuania, so like um, it's hypnosia.
Yeah. Okay.
So using hypnosis to lose weight, as an example. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Don't know if that's a real thing, but I guess it is. I've seen it in the movies.
yeah. So basically, with the quiz funnel experience, you're just
Yeah.
explaining, well, making the problem a bit bigger, and as
Uh-huh.
you're answering the questions, you know what it means for you to lose the weight, how you would feel,
Yes.
how active you are, and then you understand that you're not as active as you would like to be. And
Yeah.
so those kind of like motives, and especially
Hmm.
using the psychology, really helps with these funnels.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
And
Awesome.
I would say that when you're doing the quiz funnel, it takes a while to finish it. So it's like 15 questions. Sometimes it's up to
Hmm.
20 questions, and then you just invested so much time that you
Hmm.
just want to buy because, well, already I don't want to do that another time.
I just chatted with somebody probably, I guess it's maybe a month ago or so, and he's talking about some web tap funnels and quizzes, and there are some that are 100 screens, believe it or not.
Yeah.
That he had looked at thousands of these apps, and some were like literally 100 screens. You're pretty invested if you go through that far. Wow. Cool. So we're about midway, a little bit more than midway through 2025. We've already seen tons of shakeup in UA performance marketing. We've seen new data from Google, ICM, AMM, Advanced Mobile Measurement came back from Meta. How do you see the whole space right now? How do you see it evolving? What do you see is what do you think is going to happen as we go into the second half of the year and into 2026?
Mm, I think most of it will remain very similar.
Mm-hmm.
The main difference is, well, we also will have the Q5, the Q4, so
Yeah.
that is always exciting. But other than that, I see that more and more AI might be in play.
Yeah.
So we can see that
Yeah.
from Meta, from Google, from everyone. They're using the
Yes.
probabilistic mechanisms. The campaigns are going more towards that. But yeah, I feel that creatives are coming closer.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. It's incredible, unbelievable. and the ride just keeps getting faster, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, Vitas, thank you so much for taking this time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.